Hello. Um, Actually, I haven't recorded much, but I kind of remember that we had a lot of books from the from Apocrypha. So I just thought maybe I can just sit down, read them, take my time with them. They could be like a separate thing. I don't know. I'll try to do quests and something afterwards, but I don't know how much I can record before Monday. Little detail, that is tomorrow. It is now Sunday night. So, yeah. I procrastinated a little bit. So, let's see what we can find here. I have a few that I have from before, I think. I think this one I got it before Apocrypha. This one is from Apocrypha and stuff. So, yeah, I have quite a few things. So, yeah, these two I have for quite a long time. So, yeah. Ahzirr yeah. Let's start this. Ahzirr Traajijazeri by Anonymous. Okay. This is an absurd book. Okay, that's a good start. But like all things, Kashiti, Kashiti, as the expression goes, Salsi Vaversarita Masi, or absurdity has become a necessity. Much of what I have to say has probably never been written before, and if it has, no one has read it. The Imperials feel that everything must be written down for posterity, but every Kashiti kitten born in elsewhere knows his history. He drinks it with his mother's milk. Fairly recently, however, our struggles to win back our homeland from the rapacious Count of Leyawin have attracted sympathetic persons, even Imperials, who wish to join our cause, but it seems do not understand our ways. Our enemies, of course, do not understand us either, but that is as we wish it. A weapon in our arsenal. Our non-Kashiti friends, however, should know who we are, why we are, and what we are doing. Even the Kashid mind is not engineered for self-reflection. We simply do what we do, and let the world be damned. To put it into words and rationalize our philosophy is foreign, and I cannot guarantee that even after reading this, you will understand us. Grasp this simple truth. Si no vano sina ulais. When I contradict myself, I am telling the truth. We are the Ranjira Green, the mercenaries Green, the laugh of the landless, and the smiling scum would all be fair translations. It is a derogatory expression, but it is amusing, so we have adopted it. We have anger in our hearts, but not on our faces. We fight the elsewhere, but we do not ally ourselves with the Maine, who symbolizes our land. We believe in justice, but do not follow laws. Sino vano sina ulis? These are not rules. For three is... for three? For there. These are not rules, for there is no word for rules in the Agra. Voldemar... Wow, these names are killing me. The Gizerini? Foolish concepts. Is that a one? Let me see if there's another. Yeah, that's a one. Babado Shurdo. It is good to be brave. We are struggling against impossible odds, against the very empire of Tamriel. Our cause is of the noblest cause of all, defense of home. If we fail, we betray our past and the future. Our dead are resalidad, which may be interpreted as martyrs. In the best sense of that word, which is so often misused. We honor their sacrifice and beneath our smiles, mourn them deeply. Our bravery most obviously shows in the smile that is the Kryn, part of our name. This does not mean that we walk about grinning like the idiotic babuish Imga of Valenwood. We simply are entertained by adversary. We found an equal fair fight tiresome in the extreme. We confidently smile because we know our victory in the end is assured, and we know our smiles drive our enemies insane. 2. Baba Mazi Lahito? It is necessary to run away. We are struggling against impossible odds, against the very empire of Tamriel. Honor is madness. Yes, we love the Renjira Kryn, who died in brave battle against the forces of the empire, but I guarantee you that each of those Rizalidad had an escape route he or she failed to use, and died saying, damn. When the great Senterat comes to the Saimisil steppes, he will find himself unable to hunt, unable to sleep, as the tiny Alfik leaping onto his back, biting him and running off before he has any chance to turn his great body to face them. Eventually, though he may stubbornly hope to catch the Alfik, the Sanjarath always lives. They are our cousins, the Alfik, and we have adopted their strategy against the great tiger of Leyawin. Do not ally yourself with the Renrish? If you yearn to be part of a mighty army, marching resolute for whom retreat is anathema, we will laugh at your suicidal idiocy as we slip into the reeds of the river and watch the inevitable slaughter. Enjoy life. So 3rd, enjoy life. Life is short. If you have not made love recently, please put down this book and take care of that with all haste. Find a wanton lass or a frisky lad or several, in whatever combination your wise lines direct. And do not, under any circumstances, play hard to get. Our struggle against the colossal forces of oppression can wait. Good. Welcome back. We Renrisha Green live and fight together. We know that Leyawin and the Empire will not give way very soon, likely not in our lifetimes. In the time we have, we do not want our closest comrades to be dowered, dull, and colorless, sober, and virginal. If we did, we would have joined the Emperor's place. Do not begrudge us our lewd jokes, our bawdy drunken nights, our moon sugar. They are the pleasures that Leyawin denies us, and so we take a good humor very seriously. Kill without qualm. Life is short, very short, as many have learned when they have crossed the Renjira. It takes me so much to know what the order of words in that one is. The order of words? The order of letters in that word. Oh god. Renjira. Krim. We fight dirty. If an enemy is facing us, we might consider our options, and even slip away if his sword looks too big. If his back is to us, however, I personally favor knocking him down and then jumping on his neck where the bones snap with a gratifying crunch. Of course, it is up to you and your personal style. We give freely to the people. Let us not forget our purpose. We are fighting for our families, the Kashiri driven from the rich, fertile shores of Lake Makapi and the river Malapi, where they and their ancestors lived since time immemorial. It is our battle, but their tragedy. We must show them, lest they are swayed by other rhetoric, that we are fighting for them. The Main, the Emperor, and the Count can give speeches, pass laws, and living a life in the open, explain their positions and philosophies to their people to stave off the inevitable revolution. Extra-legal entities such as the Renrishrakrin must make our actions count for our words. This means more than fighting the good fight and having a laugh at our befuddled adversaries. It means engaging and seducing the people, Ours is not a military war, it is a political war. If the people rise up against our oppressors, they will retreat, and we will win. Give to these people, whenever possible, gold, moon sugar, and our strong arms, and though they hide their hearts, will be with us. We justly take by force. Let us not forget our purpose. We are thieves and thugs, smugglers and saboteurs. If we cannot take a farm, we burn it to the ground. If the Imperials garrisoned in a glorious ancient stronghold, beloved by our ancestors, will not yield, we tear the structure apart. If the only way to rescue the land from the Leyawiin misappropriation, it is to make it uninhabitable by all, so be it. We want our life and our home back as it was 20 years ago, but if that is not realistic, then we will accept a different, simple, pragmatic goal: revenge, with a smile. Very interesting book. I need to warm up reading. Can I read this again, or it would just take me to Apocrypha again? Because it has text. Vision of Solstheim swims before your eyes and then is gone. Well, I'm fucked. What happened? Do you see, Valdimar? What happened there? It was kind of like a thing. I don't know. It's just like a weird thing to do. I want to read it, actually. Is there any way to know what is in the book? Okay. Nothing happened. This is knowing. My animals are okay. Okay, nothing overly bad happened, so go for the books. It's a pity I cannot read it. Okay. Chronicles of Nchuleft? Nchuleft? I don't know. This is a chronicle of events of historical significance in the Dunmer freehold colony of Nchuleft. The text was probably recorded by an Altmer, as it is written in Altmeris. 23. The death of Lord Illendam. It happened in Second Planting that Lord Illendam, on a journey in the western uplands, came to Nchuleft, and Protector Anchard and General something met him there, and Dalen Sanchu also came to the meeting. They talked together long by themselves, but this only was known of their business, that they were meant to be friends of each other. They parted, and each went home to his own colony. Blutanch and her sons came to hear of this meeting, and saw in this secret meeting a treasonable plot against the council, and they often talked of this among themselves. When spring came, the councils proclaimed, as usual, a council meet in the halls of Bamsgend. The people accordingly assembled, hands fasted with ale and song, drinking bravely, and many things were talked over at the drink table, and among other things were comparisons between different Dunmer, and at last among the councillors themselves. One said that Lord Illendam exceeded his fellow councillors by far, and in every way. At this councillor Blutanch was very angry, and said that she was in no way less than Lord Illendam, and that she was eager to prove it. Instantly, both parties were so inflamed that they challenged each other to battle and ran to their arms. But some citizens, who were less drunk and more understanding, came between them and quieted them, and each went back to his colony. Nobody expected that they would ever meet in peace again together. But then in the fall, Lord Illendam received a message from Councillor Blutanch, inviting him to a parley at Hendor Stardum's, and all Illenham's king and citizens strongly urged him not to come, fearing treachery, but Lord Illendam would not listen to counsel, not even to carrying with him his honor guard, and sadly, it came to pass that While traveling to Hender Stardoms in Chinsinch Pass, a host of foul creatures set upon Lord Illendam and killed him, and all of his party, and many citizens said thereafter that Bultanj and her sons had conjured these beasts and set them upon Lord Illendam, but nothing was proven. Lord Illendam lies buried at a place called Leftanj. Okay? That was difficult to read. There were too many names. But, okay. It's a bit difficult. Dyslexia is not making this easy. So, this one is Confessions of a Dunmer Skooma Eater. This may be interesting. Nothing is more revolting to Dunmer feeling that the sorry spectacle of another Dunmer enslaved by that derivative moon sugar known as skooma. And nothing is less appetizing than listening to the pathetic tales of humiliation and degradation associated with a victim of this addictive drug. Why then do I force myself upon you with this extended and detailed account of my sins and sorrows? It will be fun. Because I hope that by telling my tale, the hope of redemption from this sorry state shall be more widely known, and because I hope that others who have also fallen into the sorry state of skooma addiction may therefore hear my story of how I fell into despair and how I once again found myself and freed myself from my own self-imposed chains. Because it is widely known to all Khajiit who may be expected to know that there is no cure for addiction to skooma, and once a slave to skooma, always a slave to skooma. Because this is widely known, it is taken to be true, but it is not true, and I am living proof. There is no miracle cure, there is no potion to be taken, there is no magical incantation which frees you from the thrill of skooma running through your blood, but it is through the understanding of that thrill and the acceptance of the lust within oneself for that thrill, and the casting aside of the shame that the thrill-seeker feels when he cannot set aside what becomes in the end his only comfort and pleasure. It is through this knowledge and understanding that the victim comes to the place where choices may be made, where despair and hope may be separated. In short, only acknowledged and acceptance can deliver into the slave's hands the key that opens his shackles and sets him free. Oh, no, we don't have the anecdotes? It was a very short one. I thought it was going to be pretty long. Fragment on Artaeum by Tauris Il Anselma. Hey, did I read this? Isle of Artaeum. Yeah, this is about the physics. Yeah, I read this. Good. Horror Castle of Ahzirr. A one-act play by Baloth Cool. Interesting. Dramatis Personae, Captain of the Imperial Guard, Cyrodiilic, Anara, a Dunmer maid. So Clavides, Anara, Ulis, a lieutenant of the Imperial Guard, an Argonian, and Solasta, young Argonian mage. Okay, so Clavides, Anara, Ulis, and Solasta. Good to have all the names. Okay, so late evening, the play opens in the interior great entrance hall of the castle in Scath Anur, replete with fine furnishings and tapestries. Torches provide the only illumination. In the center of the foyer is a great iron door, the main entrance to the castle. The staircase up to the landing above is next to the door. On stage left is the door to the library, which is currently closed. On stage right is a huge suite of armor, 20 feet tall, nearly touching the ceiling of the room. Though no one can be seen, there is the sound of a woman singing coming from the library door. A loud thumping knock on the iron front door stops the woman singing. The door to the library opens and Anara, a common-looking maid, comes out and hurries to open the front door. Clavides, a handsome man, an imperial grave, stands there. Nada. Good evening to you, Sergio. Sergio? Clavides, good evening. Is your master at home? No, Sergio. It's only me here. My master, Sedura Kenatelvani, or Dalf Xir, is at his winter state. Is there something I can do for you? Possibly. Would you mind if I came in? Not at all, Sergio. Please, may I offer you some flin? What is flin? Clavides comes into the hall and looks around. No, thank you. What is your name? Anara, Sergio. Anara, when did your master leave Cath Anur? More than a fortnight ago. That's why it's only me in the castle, Sergio. All the other servants and slaves who tend to his lordship travel with him. Is there something wrong? Yes, there is. Do you know an Ashlander by the name of Sulkarifa? No, Sergio. I don't know no one by that name. Then you aren't likely to know. He's dead. He was found a few hours ago, dying of frostbite in the Ashlands. He was hysterical, nearly incomprehensible, but among his last words were castle and seer. Dying of frostbite in summertide in the Ashlands? Vec, that's strange. I suppose it's possible that my master knew this man, but being an Ashlander and my master being the house of Delvani, well, if you will pardon me for being flippant, Sergio, I don't think they could have been friends. Where is your master's library? Ah, that is your master's library? Would you mind if I looked in? Please, Sergio, go wherever you want. We've got nothing to hide. We are loyal imperial subjects, as I hear, are all Delvani. Note from the playwright. This line should be delivered without sarcasm. I'm sorry. You should have put that before. Trust the audience to laugh. It never fails, regardless of the politics of the locals. Clavides enters the library and looks over the books. The library needs dusting. Yes, Sergio. I was just doing that when you knocked on the door. I'm grateful for that. If you had finished, I would have noticed the space in the dust where a rather large book has recently been removed. Your master is a wizard, it seems. No, Sergio. I mean, his dad is a lot, but we don't cast no spells. If that's what you mean by a wizard. He's a Kenna. Went to college and everything. You know? Now that I think about it, I know what happened to that book. One of the other Kennas from the college been round yesterday and borrowed a couple of books. He's a friend of the master, so I thought it would be all fine. This Kenna, was his name Warbin? Could have been. I don't remember. There is a suspected necromancer at the college named Kenna Warbin. We arrested last night. We don't know what he was doing at the college, but it was something illegal. That's for certain. Was that the Kenna who borrowed the book? A little fellow, a cripple with a withered leg. No, Sergio. It weren't the Kenna from yesterday. He was a big fella who could walk, so I noticed. Going to have to look around the rest of the house if you don't mind. Clavides goes up the stairs and delivers the following dialogue from the landing and the rooms above. Anara continues straightening up the downstairs, moving to a high-backed bench in front of the armor to scrub the floor. Can I ask, Sergio, what you're looking for? Maybe I could help you. Are these all the rooms in the castle? No secret passages? Oh, Sergio, what would Sedura Kenatelvani Hordalf Seer want with a secret passage? Looking at the armor. Your master is a big man. Oh, Sergio, don't tease. That giant armor, just for decoration. My master slew that giant 10 years ago and cannot keeps it as a souvenir. That's right. I remember hearing something about that when I first took my post here. It was someone named Sir who killed the giant, but I didn't think the first name was Hordalf. Memory fades, I'm afraid. What was the giant's name? I'm afraid I don't remember, Sergio. I do. It was Torfang. I got out of Torfang's shield. I don't understand, Sergio. Torfang's shield? Clavides runs down the stairs and examines the armor. School Khalifa said something about getting out of Dorfang's shield. I thought he was just raving, but out of his mind. But he ain't got a shield, Sergio. Clavius pushes the high-backed bench out of the way, revealing the large mounted shield at the base of the armor. Yes, he does. You covered it up with that bench. I didn't do it on purpose, Sergio. I was just cleaning. I see that armor every day. And Vec, I swear, I ain't never noticed the shield before. It's fine, Anara. I believe you. Clavius pushes on the shield and it pulls back to reveal a tunnel down. It appears that Sedura cannot tell Vani Hoarder Ahzirr does have a need for a secret passage. Could you get me a torch? Vec, I ain't never seen that before. Anara takes a torch from the wall and hands it to Clavius. Clavius enters the tunnel. Wait, here. Anara watches Clavius disappear down the tunnel. She appears agitated and finally runs for the front door. When she opens it, Ulis, an Argonian lieutenant in the Imperial Guard, is standing at the entrance. She screams, I'm sorry to frighten you. And now, go away. I'm afraid the captain wouldn't like that, miss. You're with the captain? Blessed mother. Clavius comes out of the tunnel, white-faced. It takes him a few moments to speak. Captain? What's down there? Do you know your master's a necromancer? Why that your cellar is filled with bodies? Anara faints. Ulis carries her to the bench and lays her down. Let me see, Sergio. You'll see soon enough. We're going to need every soldier from the post here to cart away all the corpses. Ulis, I have seen enough battles, but I never seen anything like this. No two are alike. Kashiti, Slode, Dunmer, Cyril del Breton, North, burnt alive, poisoned, electrified, melted, torn apart, turned inside out, ripped to shreds, and sewn back together. You think the Ashlander escaped? That's what happened? I don't know. Why would someone do something like this, Ulis? There's a knock on the door. Clavius answers it. A young Argonian woman, Tholasa, is standing, holding a package and a letter. Good morning. You're not Lord Ahzirr, are you? No. What do you have there? A letter and a package I'm supposed to deliver to him. Will he be here back shortly? I don't believe so. Who gave you the package to deliver? My teacher at the college, Kema Warvin. He has a bad leg, so he asked me to bring this to his lordship. Actually, to tell you the truth, I was supposed to deliver them last night, but I was busy. Greetings, sister. We will give the package to his lordship when we see him. Ah, hell, brother. I suppose they are calling themselves like sister and brother because they are both Argonian. I had heard there was a handsome Argonian in Skath Anur. Unfortunately, I promised Gemma Warvin that I will deliver the package directly to his lordship's hands. I'm already late. I can't just... We are Imperial Guards, miss. We will take the package and the letter. Tholasa reluctantly hands Clavius the letter and the package. She turns to go. You're at the college if we need to see you. Yes, fair tidings, brother. Good night, sister. I'm going to say it like that because that just... I can't read. Clavius opens the package as Tholasa exits. It is a book with many loose sheets. It appears we have found the missing book, delivered to our very own hands. Clavius begins to read the book silently to himself. Ulis, to himself, very pleased. Another Argonian in Skath Anur, and a pretty one at that. I hope we weren't too rude to her. I'm tired of all these women with their smooth, wet skin. I'm tired of all, and would be wonderful if we could meet when I'm off duty. While Ulis talks, he opens the letter and reads it. Continued. She looks like she's from the south, like me. You know, Argonians from northern Black Marsh are much less... Continues reading, transfixed by the letter. Clavius skips to the back of the book and reads the last sentences. In black ink, the Kashiti male showed surprisingly little fortitude to a simple lightning spell, but I've had interesting physiological results with a medium-level acid spell cast slowly over several days. In red ink on the margins, Yes, I see, was the acid spell cast uniformly over the entire body of the subject. Oh god, they were experimenting. In black ink, the Nord... But this is a play. What am I saying? I was like... I was thinking I was reading like something like of history, and then I remember I was reading a play. This is fiction. In black ink, the Nord female was subjected to 16 hours of frost spell, which eventually crystallized into her state of suspended animation, from which she eventually expired. Not so the Nord male, nor the Ashlander male, who lapsed into the comas much earlier, but then recovered. The Ashlander then tried to escape, but I restrained him. The Nord then had an interesting chemical reaction. No, a chemical overreaction to a simple fire spell and expired. See the accompanying illustration in red ink. Yes, I see. The pattern of boils and lesions suggests some sort of internal incineration, perhaps caused by the combination of a short burst of flame following a longer session with frost. It is such a shame I can't come to see the experiment personally, but I compliment you on your excellent notation in black ink. Thank you for the suggestion about slowly poisoning the maid Anara. The dosages you have suggested have had a fascinating result, eroding her memory very subtly. I intend to increase it exponentially and see how long it is before she notices. Speaking of which, it is a pity that I haven't any Argonian subjects, but the slave traders promised me some healthy specimens in the autumn. I should like to test their metabolism in comparison to elves and humans. It's my theory that a medium-level lightning spell casting a continuous wave on an Argonian wouldn't be lethal for several hours at least, similar to my results with the Cyrodiilic female and, of course, the giant. In red ink, it would be a shame to wait until autumn to see. Okay, wait, Ulis reading the letter, because that was all in the book. In red ink, here is your Argonian, please let me know the results. It's signed Kema Warbing. Clavidas by Kinareth. This isn't necromancy, it's destruction. Kema Warbing and Kenat Elbani Horda of Ahzirr haven't been experimenting with death, but with the limits of magical torture. The letter isn't addressed to Kenat Elbani Horda of Ahzirr, it's addressed to Sedura Lachila Ahzirr, his wife, do you think? Lachila, or Lakila. That was the Telvanni of the Ahzirr family who I heard about in connection with the giant slaying. We would best get the maid out of here. She will need to go to a healer. Clavidas wakes up Anara. She sleeps disoriented. What's happening? Who are you? Don't worry, everything is going to be fine. We're going to take you to a healer. Do you need a coat? Lachila. Thank you, no, I'm not cold. Anara Lachila stops, realizing that she's been caught. Clavidas and Ulis unsheath their blades. You have a black ink on your fingers, your ladyship. And when you saw me at the door, you thought I was the Argonian your friend Warmin sent over. That's why you said, not now, go away. You're much more observant than Anara. She never did understand what was happening, even when I tripled the poison spell and she expired in what I observed as considerable agony. What are you going to use on me first? Lightning or fire? Lightning. I find fire to be too unpredictable. As she speaks, the flames in the torch extinguish. The stage is utterly dark. There is a sound of a struggle, swords clanging. Suddenly a bolt of lightning flashes out, and there is silence. From the darkness, Lakila speaks. Fascinating. There are several more flashes of lightning as the curtain closes. The end. I kind of knew that she had to do. She was kind of more important than what she looked like. That was pretty nice. I enjoyed it. Okay, so let me see. Nightingales. Oh wait. Nightingales? Fact or fiction? By Wilhelmina Roth. Have we read something by this person? Wilhelmina Roth. Sounds like something I've read. That is an M. Mention the Nightingale to any thief worth his salt and he will laugh in your face. He will tell you that the supposed adventures of the deadly Lord Nocturnal are nothing but fictional characters who live nowhere else but within tales designed to scare young footpads into doing what they are told. But are they fictional or simply misunderstood? While it's true that most scholars will scoff at the notion of a holy sect appearing within the normally unethical and unorganized rabble that it is the Thieves' Guild, evidence suggests that such a group existed at one time within the borders of Skyrim. 120 years before the publication of this tome, a corpse was discovered wearing a strange suit of armor that was described as forged midnight. The tattered armor bore a crest of some sort, the symbol of a bird embracing a circle of undetailed blackness. The remains and the armor was taken to the College of Winterhold for study, but mysteriously vanished only a day after it arrived. The crest from this armor was circulated around Skyrim for years, but identification proved almost impossible. When the most unlikely of sources, a prisoner incarcerated within the mines of Markath, claimed that it was the mark of a group of thieves who called themselves the Nightingales. When pressed for more information, the prisoner claimed that the Nightingales were warriors of Nocturnal and performed her bidding without question. He claimed his source was someone he knew within the Thieves' Guild of Skyrim, but he refused to identify them by name, so his story was quickly dismissed. The second piece of evidence pointing to the existence of the Nightingales exists to this day just outside of Riften, discovered at the terminus of a short pathway off of the main road stands a stone of unidentified blackened material. Carved into its face is the same avian symbol previously found on the dark suit of armor. To those that subscribe to the existence of the Nightingales, this was thought to become some sort of a meeting place. To others, this symbol was once again dismissed as a hoax or simply a diversion created by the Thieves' Guild. The final and most controversial sample of evidence is a passage found scrawled on the inside of a cell wall in Whiterun. The cell had previously been occupied by a Dunmer named Lorthus, incarcerated for murder and was set for execution. After the deed was performed, the Lorthus cell was examined, and the following was found etched into one of the stone blocks. Take my hand, Lady Nocturnal, it is for my will to serve you. As a nightingale, I'm born anew. Let my past echo our triumph. This is the first and only time that a solid connection between Nocturnal and the Nightingale had been made. The unusual nature of the passage, the religious connotations towards Nocturnal made by a career criminal, kept discussions lively for years regarding the possibility of this group actually existing. Sadly, since not a single piece of evidence beyond this has surfaced to date, this exciting discovery faded into obscurity and the debate subsided. With these scant samples of evidence, conclusions are difficult to formulate. All we are left with are more questions than answers. Can religion and thievery coexist? Does the Daedric Lord Nocturnal have activations roaming Skyrim with a no doubt nefarious purpose? Does the Thieves' Guild have extensive knowledge of the Nightingales but remain sworn to secrecy? Perhaps one day the answers to these questions will be revealed, but at present it falls to you, the reader, to decide whether the Nightingales are a fact or merely fiction. That was very interesting. This is from another thing, the Holds of Skyrim. A field officer's guide for use by officers of the Imperial Legion. Welcome, loyal officer of the Empire. You have been given this guide to help you and those men under your command better understand the geography of Skyrim, since you will be serving in Skyrim for a lengthy period of time. This information should prove invaluable. Skyrim is organized into 9 holds. A hold is a large area of land roughly equivalent to a county in Cyrodiil. Each hold is governed by a jarl who maintains his court in the hold's capital city. 4 of these holds are fairly small and sparsely populated. As a result, the capitals are a little more than towns. The 5 major cities of Skyrim act as capitals for the larger holds. Following is a detailed review of each hold. Eastmarch. Located in the eastern reaches of Skyrim, Eastmarch shares a common border with Morrowind. Jarl Ulfric Stormcloak rules from the ancient city of Windhelm, and he and his followers should be considered your most serious threat. You know, sometimes I get really confused with directions. I wasn't really thinking much, but I read East March, and I was thinking of Markath, and that is on the opposite side of the map. And then I read Jarl Ulfric Stormcloak, and I'm like, oh yeah, East is on the right of the map. I know I swear I can read the map. I just sometimes I say right and it's left, and yeah, that happens. Anyways, do not tread lightly in Eastmarch, for the Stormcloaks are at their strongest and most organized in these lands. As an Imperial soldier, you will find new friends here. Halfingr, Solitude, the seat of High King of Skyrim and the capital of Halfingr Hold, has always welcomed the Empire with open arms. Much commerce flows along the rivers here, and you will find the folk of this hold to be among the most hospitable in Skyrim. Interesting, they are talking about the East first and not the Solitude, where they are kind of have their base. Interesting priorities. As you venture forth in your campaigns, be sure to maintain a secure supply line back to Solitude. The Empire maintains ample provisions in Castle Dour, from which General Tullius commands all the legions stationed in Skyrim. Shalmarch. This hold is divided evenly between wind-swept tundra dotted with farms and a huge stinking salt marsh. There is a little of interest here, save perhaps for the hold's capital, Morthal. Jarl Ithgrod Ravencrown has been cooperative enough with the Empire in the past, but will ultimately look out for her own interests if put in a difficult situation. Is that position, right? Yeah, put in a difficult position. Same. While the hold offers minimal strategic value to the Empire, it will make it the ideal staging ground for a Stormcloak siege of Solitude, and so must be held against the enemy. The Pale. The Pale is a barren realm covered by vast fields of ice and snow. Its boundaries stretch from the center of Skyrim all the way to its northern coast. Here, at the capital city of Dawnstar, can be found one of the busiest ports in the province. With access to the coastal waterways of Skyrim, Dawnstar could provide vital in the war effort. Should the Stormcloaks choose to attack Solitude from the river, this port will make a tempting target due to its close proximity. The Reach. Dominating the western border of Skyrim, the Reach is made up almost entirely of steep, craggy mountains. Little grows in this forbidden realm, but the capital city of Markath is a nigh impregnable stone fortress that will make an excellent defensive position for either side of the war. Beware that this dangerous region of Skyrim is home to the Forsworn, the rebellious natives of the Reach. They know the terrain and can strike without warning and count the Empire as an enemy. If they attack, you must neither give no, nor expect any mercy. You mustn't give up. Oh god, my head is not on my shoulders right now. Okay. The Rift. This hold occupies the southeast corner of Skyrim, and much like the Reach in the west, it's dominated by tall mountain peaks. The climate in the Reach is milder than the northern holds, and there is more vegetation to be found here. Farming thrives as a result. A word of warning about Riften, the Hold's capital city. Our agents have reason to suspect that the Thieves Guild makes it home here, though it is now much diminished from its strength in previous years. Nevertheless, mind that your men keep an eye on their coin purses, should they have reason to spend any length of time in the city. Whiterun. The central hold is characterized by wide grassy plains that are home to numerous farms. Many roads pass through Whiterun, joining the more distant holds together. The hold's capital city, also called Whiterun, sits high on a rocky promontory amid a large flat swath of scrubland. Among the wealthiest cities of Skyrim, Whiterun has usually proven friendly to the Emperor's soldiers. Winterhold. This bleak snow-blown hold in the northeast corner of Skyrim is utterly inhospitable. Perhaps the mages at the College of Winterhold chose to make their home there because they knew they would be left largely alone. As with Whiterun, the name Winterhold describes both the hold and its capital city, though the word city hardly applies. The whole capital is a meager village built near the mages' college. Few other noteworthy settlements exist in this frozen waste, and it is unlikely to play any significant part in the war. Oh, so Falkreath does not count? Or did we talk about Falkreath? Does it not count? Interesting. I mean, they're kind of far away. Useless piece of land. Ransom of Zarek. Ancient Tales of the Dunmer, Part 1 by Marwal Sul. I know that author. It's nice to see the authors get repeated throughout all the books. It's kind of like, yeah, I know that person. I know it. What is that? Is it an S? A Shay? What is that? I literally just see a snake or whatever. Alemil. Something Alemil. Do you have anything else? Jalemil is a J. Jalemil stood in her garden and read the letter her servant had brought to her. The bouquet of Joe's roses in her hand fell to the ground. For a moment it was as if all birds had ceased to sing and a cloud had passed over the sky. Her carefully cultivated and structured heaven seemed to flood over with darkness. "We have thy son," it read. "We will be in touch with thee shortly with our ransom demands." Zarek had never made it as far as Agun after all. One of the brigands on the road, orcs probably, or a cursed Dunmer, must have seen his well-appointed carriage and taken him hostage. Shalamil clutched a post for support. Wondered if her boy had been hurt. He was but a student, not the sort to fight against well-armed men, but had they beaten him, it was more than a mother's heart could bear to imagine. "Don't tell me they sent the ransom note so quickly," called a family voice, and a familiar face appeared through the hedge. It was Zarek. Jalemil hurried to embrace her boy, tears running down her face. "What happened?" she cried. "I thought thou had been kidnapped." "I was," said Zarek. "3 huge soaring Norse attacked my carriage on the Frimborn Pass. Brothers, as I learned, named Matthias, Ulin, and Krog. Thou should have seen these men, mother. Each one of them would have had trouble fitting through the front door, I can tell thee." "What happened?" Shalamil repeated. "Were thou rescued?" "I thought about waiting for that, but I knew they would send off a ransom note, and I know how thou dost worry. So I remember that my mentor at Agun always said about remaining calm, observing thy surroundings, and looking for thy opponent's weaknesses." Zarek grinned. It took a while, though, because these fellows were truly monsters. And then when I listened to them bragging to one another, I realized that vanity was their weakness. What did thou do? They had me chained at their camp in the woods not far from Kyle, on a high knoll overlooking a wide river. I heard one of them, Krug, telling the others that it would take the better part of an hour to swim across the river and back. They were nodding in agreement when I spoke up. I could swim the river and back in 30 minutes, I said. Impossible, said Krug. I can swim faster than a little whelp like thee. So it was agreed that we could dive off the cliff, swim to the center island, and return. As we went to our respective rocks, Crooks took it upon himself to lecture me about all the fine points of swimming, the importance of synchronized movements of the arms and legs for maximum speed, how essential it was to breathe after only third or fourth stroke, not too often to slow thyself down, but not too often to lose one's air. I nodded and agreed to all of his fine points. Then we dove off the cliffs, made it to the island and back in a little over an hour, but Krug never returned. He had dashed his brains at the rocks at the base of the cliff. I had noticed the telltale undulations of underwater rocks and had taken the diving rock on the right. But thou returned? Asked Jalemil, astounded. Was that not when thou escaped? Too risky to escape them. They could have easily called me again, and I wasn't keen to be blamed for Krug's disappearance. I said I did not know what happened to him, and after some searching they decided he had forgotten about the race and had swum ashore to hunt for food. They could not see how I could have had anything to do with his disappearance, as fully visible as I was throughout my swim. So two brothers began making camp along the rocky cliff face, picking an ideal location so I could not be able to escape. One of the brothers, Matthias, began commenting on the quality of the soil and the gradual incline of the rock that circled around the bay below. Ideal, he said, for a foot race. I expressed my ignorance of the sport, and he was keen to give me details on the proper technique for running a race. He made absurd faces, showing how one must breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, how to bend one's knees to the proper angle on the rise, the importance of sure foot placement. Most important, he explained, was that the runner keep an aggressive but not too strenuous pace if one intends to win. It is fine to run in second place throughout the race, he said, providing one has the willpower and strength to pull out in the end. He was an enthusiastic student, and Matthias decided that we ought to run a quick race around the edge of the bay before night fell. Ulin told us to bring back some firewood when we came back. We began at once down the path, skirting the cliff below. I followed his advice about breath, gait, and foot placement, but I ran with all my power right from the start. Despite his much longer legs, I was a few paces ahead, and we wound the first corner. With his eyes on my back, Matthias did not see the gap in the rock that I jumped over. He plummeted over the cliff before he had a chance to cry out. I spent a few minutes gathering some twigs before I returned to Olin at camp. Now, though we're just showing off, frowned Jalemil. Surely that would have been a good time to escape. Thou might think so, agreed Zarek. But thou had not seen the topography, few large trees and then nothing but shrubs. Ulin would have noticed my absence and caught up with me in no time, and I would have had a hard time explaining Matthias' absence. However, the brief forage around the area allowed me to observe some of the trees close up, and I could formulate my final plan. When I got back to camp with a few twigs, I told Ulin that Matthias was slow coming along, dragging a large dead tree behind him. Ulin scoffed at his brother's strength, saying it would take him time to pull up a live tree by the roots and drop it on the bonfire. I expressed reasonable doubt. I'll show thee, he said, ripping up a 10-foot-tall specimen effortlessly. But that's scarcely a sapling, I objected. I thought you could rip up a tree. His eyes followed mine to a magnificent, heavy-looking one at the edge of the clearing. Ulin grabbed it and began to shake it with a tremendous force to loosen its roots from the dirt. With that, he loosened the hive from the uppermost branches, dropping it down onto his head. That was when I met my escape mother, said Zarek in conclusion, showing a little schoolboy pride. While Matthias and Krug were at the base of the cliff, and Ulin was flailing about, engulfed by a swarm. Jolimil embraced her son once again. That's so cool. They were pretty stupid. They were very stupid. They didn't have their priorities right. Publisher's note, I was reluctant to publish the works of Maroval Sul, but when the University of William Press asked me to edit this edition, I decided to use this as an opportunity to set the record straight once and for all. Scholars do not agree on the exact date of Maroval Sul's work, but it is generally agreed that they were written by the playwright Gor Feliem, famous for popular comedies and romances. During the interregnum between the fall of the First Cyrodiilic Empire and the rise of Tiber Septim, the current theory holds that Feliem heard a few genuine Dunmer tales and adapted them to the stage in order to make money, along with rewritten versions of many of his own plays. Gor Feliem created the persona of Maroval. Interesting. So it's like a pseudonym. Maroval Sul, who could translate the Dunmer language in order to add some sort of validity to the works and make it even more valuable to the gullible. Note that while Maroval Sul and his works became the subject of heated controversy, there are no reliable records of anyone actually meeting Maroval Sul, nor was there anyone of that name employed by the Mages Guild, the school of Julianos, or any other intellectual institution. In any case, the Dunmer in most of the tales of Maroval Sul bear little resemblance to the fearsome, unfathomable race that frightened even the Dunmer. Nords and Redguards into submission and built ruins that even now have yet to be understood. Interesting. So, the Tale of Dozira, because this one I think I already read. Transcription and commentary by Sonia Bette. That's a C. The following is a tale overheard as told by a Khajiit father to his cub. While making camp with one of the caravans, I have attempted to transcribe it as he told it, for the Khajiit do not often speak of their history to outsiders. In truth, I do not believe he would have spoken at all, but for the vast helping of moon sugar he had consumed that night. Okay, he was pretty drunk. Understandable. Come and warm your fur by the fire, Rashir, and I will tell you of how our Dozira came to be the greatest of all Khajiit. Ed? What is that? It's not edited. What is it? Dozira I took in this case to be an honored ancestor. Okay, so it's kind of like a translator's note or something. Like an the ancient Khajiit heard the great roar of Akatosh, the great cat king of time, known as Akatosh in the Empire and Alduin in Skyrim. Interesting. Is that the first time I have that connection written? Interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, and raised to his voice. In 3 days' time they crossed the whole of Tamriel, resting not even for the moon sugar, for which was the speed of Khajiit then. They joined with the pride of Akatosh and were his strongest warriors. Lorkach? Sure, in the Nordic, however, choose to give his word to the Ra-Wulfharth, despite the Khajiit warriors, for he was jealous of their devotion to Akatosh. Seeing the ferocity of the Khajiit warriors, Ra-Wulfharth could not bring himself to put them to death. Using the roar that Lord Karch had given him, he spoke to Maser and Secunda to move to their fullness in the sky. The Khajiit warriors became Sanche, but Lord Karch stripped from them all reason. When Ra-Wulfrath returned to sink his fangs into the Red Mountain, he called upon his people to aid him. Though Zira was the only among the Khajiit who still remembered, and so was the only one who answered the summons. But these North bars are expletive removed, and do not think of how the great Ash King rode those Zira up the Red Mountain itself to strike at the heart of the Dunmer. Never it is mentioned how those Zira pounced atop Dumalkath, the dwarf orc, when he had his blade to the throat of the Ash King so that he could not speak. Nor do they sing of how Lorkach returned those Zira from the lands of Shogorath for his bravery and for saving the Ash King. So when you find a bard who speaks ill of the Khajiit, you be sure to leave him an iron claw in the back to remind him who saved Skyrim. As for the rest of the Roshid? Is it an R or a K? It's giving me such a bad moment. You're giving me a hard time with that font. They grew small and lost their cunning altogether, which is why you should not hesitate to strike them down when they approached the wagons. So it was told by my father, and so I will tell it to you now. Now, be a good cub, and go fetch me some more moon sugar for these sweet cakes. Oh, there was another page. Nice, good thing I checked. Most of the tales seem to me little more than a boast, but certain facts do seem to line up with what we believe it is the truth behind the legends. It does raise questions as to why we do not know more about history of the Khajiit and what parts they have played that might not have been written by our written histories. Yeah, mostly if the Khajiits just pass all these they pass all this information by word of mouth. They don't leave a record, so yeah. Other people, we know they hate them, they wouldn't be recording them, unfortunately. So this one's Trap by an anonymous author. Fish. I saw the gold, and I took it. A different man might not have. I know that, and from time to time, I think back on the hour when I saw the gold and took it. You see, I was hungry. Isn't it ironic? I don't remember much else about that night but the gold and the hunger. I don't remember the name of the tavern or even the village, but I believe it was somewhere in South Bardenfell. I can't really be certain. For some time I sat dumbly in my chair, my mind occupied with nothing but the pain in my stomach. If you have never been truly hungry from days of no food, you can't know what it's like. You can't concentrate on anything. It wasn't until a figure to my left got up from the table to get a drink and left a stack of gold marks behind that I snapped to awareness. From this moment on, my memory is crystalline. My eyes to the gold, my eyes to the stranger's back, walking calmly towards the barmaid. My hand to the gold in my pocket. I am up from the table and out the door. For just a moment I look back. The stranger has turned to look my way. He wears a hood, but I can feel his eyes meet mine. I swear I can scent a smile. Out into the street and behind some barrels, I crouched down, waiting for my pursuer. One benefit of a lifetime running from guards, I know how to disappear. For nearly an hour I waited there, suffering even more from hunger. You see, I was awake now, and I had the means to buy myself a feast. This knowledge tortured me. When I finally got to my feet, I very nearly fainted. I had only enough energy to walk to the other edge of the village to a run-down tavern before collapsing at a table. I think I must have fallen unconscious for a moment before I heard the barmaid's voice. "Can I get you something to eat, Sarah?" I gorged myself on roasts and pies and a huge frothing mugs of grief. As the fog of a near-fatal starvation began to lift, I looked up from my plate to see a gold-masked stranger looking at me, his visage glowing by the blinding light of the moon through the window. He wore black leather armor and was a different physique and size from the man I had burgled, but I could tell he knew. I paid for my meal quickly and left. I skirted the edge of the village, through a tilted central courtyard surrounded by the squalid peasants' cottages. There was not a light shining from any window or door, No one was on the streets. I could find no place to hide, so I took the road out of the town, heading for the wilderness. Hunger had pushed me on in the days before, when I felt what I imagined to be the whip of guilt. Or perhaps, even then, it was fear. I fell twice, rushing down the dark path, unused to the slopes and pebbled texture. The sounds of animal life, which I had numbed to, were suddenly very loud in my ears, and there was something else out there in the night, something chasing me. On the side of the road, there was a low wall, and I scrambled over it and hid. I knew enough about concealment to pick a spot where the bulwark sunk slightly, so even if someone saw the outline of my figure, he would assume it to be part of the wall. It wasn't long before I heard the sound of running footsteps from more than one person pass by me and then stop. There was a moment of whispered conversation, and one of the people ran back on the path towards the village. Then silence. After a few more minutes, I peered out from behind the wall. A female figure in a dawn gown, wimple and veil, stood in the road. On the other end of the road, blocking the way back to town, was a knight, coated in dark mail. I could see neither of their faces. For a moment I froze, unsure whether either or both had seen me. "Run," said the woman in a dead voice. The hill behind me was too steep, so I leapt over the wall and crossed the road in 2 bounds. Into the light forest I ran, the maddening jingle of the accursed gold in my pocket. I knew I was making so much noise my pursuers could not help but hear me, but now I cared more for putting distance between us than in stealth. Clouds of ash filtered through the moonlight, but I still knew it was too bright to hide. I ran and ran until I felt all my blood pumping in my head and heart, begging me to stop. I was at the edge of the wood, on the other side of a shallow stream from a vast crumbling house encircled by a rail fence. Behind me, running football in the broken, dusty earth. To the south, downstream, a distinct sudden splashing of someone moving nearer. There was no choice. I half jumped and half fell into the mud and dragged myself up the bank on the other side. I rolled under the fence and ran through the open field towards the house, jerking my head around. I saw seven shadowy figures by the fence post. The cloaked man I had robbed, the man in the gold mask, the veiled woman, the dark knight, 3 others, 2 who had pursued me, but I had never seen. And I thought I was the stealthy one. Interesting situation to be in. The moon was entirely hidden in a swarm of ash. Only the stars offered their meager illumination as I reached the open door of the ruin. I slammed and bolted the door behind me, but I knew there would be no protection for very long. As I looked around the ravaged interior of broken furniture, I searched for someone to hide? For somewhere to hide, maybe. A corner, a niche, where if I stayed very still, no one would see me. A splintered table lying against the wall looked perfect for my purposes. I crawled under it and jumped, when something moved and I heard a frightened old man's voice. "Who's there?" "It's all right," I whispered. "I'm not one of them." His pocket gnarled hand reached out from the shadow and gripped my arm. Instantly I felt sleep fall upon me, resisted as I might. The old man's horrible face, the face of the hungry dead, emerged as the moon came out and shone through the broken window. His talons still gripping me, I fell back, smelling his death surround me. The table was thrown back. There stood the 7 hunters and a dozen more. No, hunters they weren't. They were harriers who had chased me out of every hiding place, expertly pushing me to the lair of the real predator. He was weak with age. The old man was not as good as chase as he once was, a blunt, killing machine. "Please," I said. He was like a master. Having enjoyed the sport they offered, he granted me mercy of sorts. I was not bled dry. I was not cursed by being made one of them. The burn. I was kept with others, most of us mad with fear to be aged and taste at the vampire's whim. We are called cattle. I lost all hopes months ago of ever leaving the dank cellar where they keep us. Even if this note finds its way to the outside world, I cannot give enough information about my whereabouts to be rescued, even if some champion were able to defeat the bloodsuckers. I only write this to keep my own sanity and to warn others. There is something worse than being hungry, being food. I love that. I really love that story. That was so fun to read. Like, it's called Trap. Yeah, I thought, they were kind of maybe guiding him somewhere. I didn't think it was going to be a vampire thing. That was really good. Okay. Troll slaying. I don't think I read this, but okay, by Finn. Hello, fellow traveler, and welcome to this guide. Within these pages, I will explain everything you need to know about fighting trolls, including how to negate their amazing healing powers and how best to take advantage of their natural love of gold. I would even share with you my tried and true secret for killing trolls. Intrigued? I hope so. Troll fat is a valuable commodity, and there's fortune and glory to be made for the ambitious troll hunter. Onward then. What? This intro has way too much energy for me. Okay, so, Chapter 1. I just saw a troll. If you think you have seen a troll, remain calm and slowly back away. The wise hunter knows that preparation is the key to success, and you certainly don't want to hunt any trolls unprepared. I can say that is true. But it is really a troll that you have spotted. The first step in your hunt is the proper identification of your quarry. Trolls are roughly man-shaped with lengthy muscular arms that end in claw-tipped fingers. The creature's large mouth is filled with jagged teeth, all the better to crunch the bones of foolish hunters who didn't purchase my book. Without a doubt, the troll's most distinctive and unusual feature is the third eye nestled in the center of his forehead. A troll's hide is covered in thick, shaggy fur. The coloration of this fur varies by region. Cave troll fur is brownish in color, while a frost or snow troll will have a white coat. Chapter 2. Stop healing yourself. So, you have properly identified a troll, and now you are stalking the beast, ready to strike. You're in for a challenging battle, but a profitable one, assuming you survive. The first thing you will notice is that trolls are incredibly fast and strong for their size. A troll likes to pummel its prey into submission with a powerful arm strikes and claw attacks. For this reason, I strongly recommend a shield. If you are brave enough, or foolish enough, to fight a troll without using a shield, then you would better be an expert at pairing with whatever weapon you have got. No, I block the things with my face. I don't use a shield, I don't evade things. I just take damage and then heal. I'm on the stupid category. Trolls also have the ability to rapidly heal from their wounds. As such, you do not want to get into a prolonged fight with one. Speed and aggression are the key to beating a troll, because there is no creature in Tamriel that can outlast one. Of course, speed and aggression will only take you so far against an angry troll. This is where my secret weapons comes in. Chapter 3. Finn's secret weapon. Fire, my friend. Say the word and commit it to memory, for fire is the troll's hunter's ultimate weapon. I cannot overstate the importance of fire in battling a troll. Even trolls that don't dwell in cold climates are vulnerable to fire. If you're unable to use fire magic, carry a weapon enchanted with arcane flames. Why is the troll vulnerable to fire? Rumor holds that the troll's regenerative abilities are less effective at healing burns. I don't really know the answer, but I can promise you this. Fire works against trolls. This has been proven time and time again. Chapter 4. Trimming the fat. The troll might be dead, but your job isn't finished just yet. Let the flames die down and then examine the troll's corpse. If you're lucky, you will find some fat deposits that will fetch a good price in an apothecary shop. In fact, if you have got a knack for alchemy yourself, you can boil the fat down to use it in all manner of potions and tonics. If you can find it, be sure to check the troll's den as well. Perhaps you will find the remains of some foolish adventurer who was too cheap-minded to purchase this book. The shade. No doubt you can put his coin to wiser use. Now you know everything that you need to make a living as a wealthy and reputable troll hunter. Go on then, get out of here and find yourself some trolls. First time I found a troll, I remember that. It was bad. It was really bad. Okay, so last one for today. Uncommon Taste by the Gourmet. What is this going to be about? Congratulations! By opening this volume, you have taken the first step on a truly epic journey, a voyage through the vast landscape of Breton food and its myriad joys and wonders. You will explore scents, flavors, and textures so exquisite they will seem impossible, but they are more than possible. Indeed, by following carefully selected recipes presented in this cookbook, you will prepare extraordinary dishes with such ordinary ease. Those around you will suspect sorcery, but the only magic is that which exists in your own heart, the passion you possess for creating delicious, amazing food that can be prepared easily and enjoyed endlessly. I'm going to be honest, I thought this book was going to be about cannibalism. Doesn't seem like it. The start doesn't seem like it, I think. And now I feel bad. Okay, so start here, and someday you too can be a gourmet. Sunlight Souffle ingredients. Okay, I'm just going to try to read this. 2.5 ounces of cow cheese, 1 ounce of butter, 1 ounce of flour, 9 ounces of milk, a dash of salt, a dash of pepper, a cup full of ground nutmeg. Recipe: stroke the flames of your oven and achieve a moderate heat. Grate the cheese into thin shavings by running a finely honed elven dagger over the block. Separate the egg whites from the yolks and beat the whites vigorously until they thicken. Begin a preparation of the signature sunshine sauce, melt the butter, and add in the flour while stirring continuously until well blended. Move the mixture to a small flame and begin gently stirring in the milk. It is crucial that you do not stop stirring. Continue to do so for 10 minutes until the mixture thickens. Then, and only then, will the sunshine sauce be considered ready. Add the salt, pepper, and nutmeg and remove from the flame. Add in the grated cheese and then the egg yolks. Stir well until fully blended. Then gently add the egg whites with a spoon made of carved hickory wood. Gently pour the mix into 4 stoneworks of flat dishes, filling each nearly, but not quite, to the top. Put the dishes in your moderately hot oven and shut the door. Keep it sealed for around 25 minutes, or your scrumptious suns will rise only to fall down flat into the oven's abyss. Remove after 25 minutes and serve immediately. Behold the brilliance of the sun and the exquisite flavor of the sunshine souffle. It was actually a recipe. I cannot believe this. I'm going to start the book on the bookshelf. Oh gosh, it was actually a recipe. I was so sure that it was actually going to be a cannibalism thing. I am not proud of that. I can put 3 more, I think. Oh no. Let's put that one, and that one. That should be it. Yeah. Activate bookshelf. Can I store that? No. There we go. I like this, having so many like the books on this on the things. I need okay. That will be all for this. At least for this section. I don't... Oh god. I'm going to leave it here, so that will be all for this section of reading. That was a lot. It was like an hour or something. I'm going to rest a little bit and then continue recording, so goodbye. Bye bye.